So you want to really level up your media ministry, make a real impact, huh? Well, today we're diving deep with AJ the CEO. This guy's YouTube channel is like the ultimate guide to digital ministry.
All right. And it's not just the tech stuff, it's the leadership aspect too, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from that at all. He actually says that without strong leadership, even the best tech in the world won't help you connect.
Absolutely. It's like he says in one of his videos, uh, you are the conduit, not a king.
Whoa, when I heard that, that really made me stop and think.
It's such a powerful analogy, right?
Yeah.
Because it speaks to the heart of what leadership should be. You're not there to hoard power or control everything. You're a channel for something bigger than yourself.
It's about serving others, empowering others.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? AJ takes it a step further. He says a true test of leadership is constantly seeking your replacement.
Wait, really? That sounds kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it?
I know, right? It sounds strange at first, but think about it. If you're always looking for someone who could take your place, what are you doing? You're investing in their development, you're delegating responsibility, you're creating a culture where everyone feels valued and equipped to lead.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about making yourself obsolete. It's about building something that outlasts you.
Exactly. It's about legacy, it's about empowerment.
And that brings us to the practical side of things, which AJ also really gets into. Like in his Back to Basics video, he gives these 6 amazing tips.
Oh, that video was gold. And you know what really stood out to me? Documentation. It might sound boring,
Oh, tell me about it.
but as AJ says, know your system like the back of your hand.
Seriously, know it inside and out. And he tells this funny story, right, about a speaker placement mishap that totally messed up the sound during a service.
Oh yeah, I think we've all been there at some point.
It just goes to show you, even those little details matter. So why is documentation so important, even for smaller teams, I mean?
Well, imagine you have a new volunteer running sound, right? Having clear, written down procedures ensures consistency.
That makes sense.
And if something goes wrong, you can troubleshoot quickly. Documentation is like your ministry's insurance policy against chaos, you know?
For sure, for sure. And speaking of chaos, AJ's a huge advocate for recording everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Sermons, worship, those announcements that seem to drag on forever, everything.
And not just for the archives, right? Reviewing those recordings is where the magic happens. It's like watching game film. You can analyze what worked, what didn't, how you can improve the experience, both for your in-person and your online audience.
Okay, so let's say we're watching a recording of a recent sermon.
Right.
What are some things we should be paying attention to, in terms of making it better next time?
Great question. You'd look at the camera angles. Are they engaging? Are they capturing the energy of the speaker? How's the lighting? Could the audio be clear? These might seem like small things,
Yeah.
but they all add up to creating a really polished, engaging experience.
So it's about taking that step back, looking at the big picture. Right.
Exactly. It's that whole idea of continuous improvement.
I like that. Always be improving.
Yeah. Always be looking for ways to make the next event even better than the last. And that leads us to another important point, which is engaging the next generation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially because they're often the most tech-savvy among us.
And that's where things get really interesting, because AJ tackles that question that I feel like every church struggles with. How do we get young people more involved? But what's so cool is he explains why that whole approach is actually backwards.
Totally. It's like we're saying young people need to be told what to be passionate about.
Right.
But AJ flips the script. He calls it the build-a-bridge philosophy.
Build a bridge. I like that. Tell me more about that.
So it's about meeting young people where they are. It's about connecting with their interests.
Instead of trying to force ours on them.
Exactly. We need to remember they are already passionate about things. Music, art, gaming, technology. It's about finding ways to connect those passions to their faith, to the mission of the ministry.
So instead of saying, hey, come help us with this thing that we think is important, we should be saying,
Hey, we see you're passionate about this. How can we build a bridge to your world and see how that passion can make a difference here?
give them ownership, let them lead.
Exactly. And what's amazing is that AJ's own story of building a successful online ministry is a testament to that very approach.
So how did he do it? How did he attract a younger audience without even, like, trying to.
Well, it wasn't about focusing on a specific age group or anything like that. It was more about just, genuinely sharing his passion.
Being authentic.
Exactly, being authentic, being himself.
Mhm.
And I think that really resonated with young people. They saw someone who was excited about using technology.
To make a difference.
Yeah, to spread a message, and they were drawn to that. Like, they could tell it was real.
Because young people, they can spot a fake a mile away. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, for sure. And they want mentors who are like the real deal,
Yeah.
someone who's going to meet them where they're at.
And speak their language. So when you create that environment, when young people feel welcome and valued,
Amazing things happen.
they can really blossom. So how do we actually make that happen? How do we empower young people to lead in our ministries?
It's about giving them ownership, right? So instead of just like finding tasks for the youth,
Right.
like let's empower the youth to lead.
I love that.
Ah.
Give me an example of what that could look like.
Okay, so maybe they're the ones managing the ministry's social media,
Oh, that's a great idea.
or maybe they're creating like short, engaging videos for services, or maybe even like starting a podcast.
A podcast. That's so cool. So say I'm listening to this right now and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start building those bridges, connecting with the youth in my community. What's my first step?
I would say start by listening, like really listening. What are the young people in your community passionate about?
What are their interests?
Exactly. What are their concerns?
Yeah.
What are they talking about? And once you start to understand their world a little bit,
Then you can start to
then you can start to find those connection points.
build those bridges.
Exactly. And, that ties in with another thing that AJ talks a lot about, which is staying current with technology.
Because it's constantly changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not about, like, chasing every new gadget that comes out. It's about being good stewards of the tools that we have.
He says technology can really amplify your ministry's reach.
100%. It can totally enhance the experience, both for the people who are part of the ministry and for those who you're trying to reach with your message, right?
Both the people in the room and those tuning in online.
Exactly. And that might look different for every ministry, right? Like, for some, it might be as simple as getting better microphones.
So it's about making those strategic upgrades what it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe it's finally trying out that new live streaming platform you've been hearing about.
Right, or like finally learning how to use that software program that can help you make better graphics.
Exactly. AJ talks about how even small upgrades can make a big difference. It's really about being intentional, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's about realizing that technology is not going to stand still, so we can't either, right?
That's so true. It's about always being willing to learn and grow and ask yourself, okay, what's one little thing I can do today to like step up my tech game?
Love it. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive, what's standing out to you most from all of this? Was there like one golden nugget of wisdom from AJ that you're going to walk away with?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's so much good stuff. But if I had to pick just one thing, I think it's the whole build a bridge philosophy. It's such a good reminder that if you really want to engage with people, you got to meet them where they are.
So good. And, that really connects back to something else we were talking about, leadership, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like constantly looking for your replacement. It's about giving other people the opportunity to lead.
It really is. And, that takes a lot of humility, I think, and a willingness to kind of step back and let other people shine.
It's about building something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's exciting.
definitely. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired.
Me too.
So to anyone listening, if you're looking for more wisdom from AJ the CEO, and you should be definitely check out his YouTube channel. He's got tons of great content. He explains things in a way that's really easy to understand, and he always keeps it real, which I appreciate.
Couldn't agree more.
And that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep using your gifts to make a difference.